this on television. Why not? Because they're scared. Welcome to the March of Freedom.
I had been damaged and broken, but I had not been defeated. As I continued onward, it seemed as though my threshold of tolerance was increasing with each kilometer I traveled and the experiences of each passing day. As I left the sanctuary of South River behind, I could not help but envision what was in store for me on the road ahead. I had already made it 188 kilometers of the journey. However, I had no idea that the hardest part was still to come.
So that's South River there. That was my backyard last night, all this bush. And I'm taking 124 through South River instead of going to Highway 11. My knee's already starting to hurt, which kind of sucks, but I gotta keep on going. Beware of charging moose. Last night I didn't have a camera because the iPhone died, but I met a guy named James Gray. He was a musician that was playing at a cafe, and he actually opened for my band Woven Ancestry in North Bay a couple years back, which is really cool actually to meet somebody that I've shared the stage with before. So James, it's cool meeting you. We talked about what I was doing. He thought it was right awesome. I got to save the energy for this walk because there we have it. Sundridge 8 kilometers, Huntsville 64. So there's the Almagan Evangelical Missionary Church. That's an old church for sure. It's probably been here for a long time. As you all know, the missionaries came over here to try to convert the Native Americans. And when they wouldn't, they'd be killed. Shipped off to residential schools, forced to worship God and all sorts of other things. And there's a lot of reasons why I'm not too religious. I'm spiritual, but I'm not religious. And there's many reasons for that, and that's just one of them right there.
The hidden hand of Freemasonry can be found throughout our history books if you look close enough, and the Native American genocide and the forced conversions by the missionaries is no exception to this. These residential school children are obviously too young to be Freemasons, and yet just 4 months after their arrival at Carlisle, they can be seen doing the lion's claw or hidden hand gestures in these photographs. The scared and fearful looks on their faces tell me that they were forced to pose this way. This is clearly evidence of the Masonic influence during these times, which still exists today.
Beautiful view. Definitely a beautiful view.
It was a great day to be walking on the highway, and the sun beat down on me most of the morning. After making it about halfway to Sundridge, I found a resting and picnic area off to the side of the road, so I decided to stop and have a bite to eat and get off my feet for a little bit. While I was at the park, I enjoyed the sights under the sun and utilized the time to update my journal entries.
Well, time to pack up and go. There's a giant storm cloud, giant rain cloud right above me. Just seems like it wants to follow me wherever I'm going. But where I'm going down there, it's bright blue skies. So I'm gonna get out from under this big rain cloud and start getting out of here.
And before long, I made it to the small village of Sundridge.
Didn't seem that bad of an 8 kilometers actually. Went by pretty quick. I could easily get another 20 or 30 in today. But I'm gonna stop there, see how things are there, get a drink, talk to some people, and what do you know? Business section. That's the business section, yeah, but I think they ought to rename it to Profit from the Necessities of Life section. And this is Sundridge, and look, look what's above. This cloud does not want to leave me alone today. And it's not just that cloud, there's been a lot. Everywhere I go today, they seem to follow me around. It's almost like they know where I'm going. But I'm still going into Sundridge because I need to connect and rest the feet. I'm now in Sundridge, and I saw a really inspiring sight and one not so inspiring as soon as I walked into town. Take a look over here, and this guy's got 3 massive solar panels in his backyard. Looks like he's got a garage going on there, so he's probably juicing his house and the garage and everything else he needs just from the sun. These are huge panels. It'd be cool if he had a garden underneath there, utilize the space, his backyard. It looks like there's just a bunch of grass and weeds, but that is really cool for sure. Like I said, every town I've been in so far since I've been on this journey has been a Masonically influenced town. So here's my cart on the side of the road, solar panels over there. As soon as you walk into town, what do you got? You've got the Strong Lodge, Strong Township, which is this municipality or township. Here we got it. We've got the Freemasons in every town. Every town. They did start the communities a long time ago, but if you take a look at what they do and what they study, their rituals, their practices, it's very occult based, obviously. Got a back door here. Inside the lodge, you'll notice all lodges have black and white checkered floors. When you see movies with checkered floors, walls with checkered floors, that's what you got. That's a Masonic influence right there. But I'm guessing nobody's here. There's no cars in the driveway. Here's another interesting thing that you'll note. All the windows, all of them boarded up. Look at that. They're all boarded up. Luciferians worshipping the light right in their backyard. Bet you nobody knows. That's why they're a secret society, right? Well, time to see what else Sundridge has to offer. A war monument right in the middle of Sundridge. It's another evidence of the Freemasons right in Sundridge. Right now I'm just sitting at Lake Bernard. Really nice lake. The water looks pretty sandy, so I'm guessing there's been a lot of wind action, but there's nice sand, so that means there's some nice beaches here. Definitely a nice lake, really nice view all around, but there's that storm cloud waiting to get me. Everywhere I go, it will follow.
I wanted to keep moving to try and beat the storm clouds, but before leaving Lake Bernard, I saw a guy driving by on his bike, so I struck up a conversation with him. After explaining what I was doing, he said he was camera shy and did not want to be filmed, but we still had a great conversation.
So I was just talking to a guy at the lake there, and he said that when I get near Burk's Falls, they're building a huge solar field of all solar panels, which is really awesome. I'm really looking forward to seeing that actually. But when I was talking to him, he said, "Oh, you should speak to my stepdad. He's got a lot of things to tell you about government and corruption and stuff like that." But I want to try to make it to Burk's Falls tonight if I can. But he was a really cool guy. I gave him a flyer, and he told me he's aware of the corruption in government and companies. So pretty much, there has not been a single person from Sudbury to Sundridge that said that they can't see the corruption in government and corporations and stuff like that. Everybody knows. Everybody sees it. Everybody says it's time for change. A lot of people feel powerless, but public power is the only power. It's the only way we're going to make a difference. So it's really cool. that everybody's awake, everybody knows what's going on, and they're educating themselves on what's going on and finding out the truth, because that's really going to be what sets us free. Here's something worth pointing out that I just saw. We've got a well here. Water provided here has come from a lake, river, stream, or pond. This drinking water supply may have been chemically disinfected but not filtered. This water may look clean and have no undesirable odor. However, parasites such as Giardia and Critosporidium may be present in the water supply and could cause illnesses. To ensure a safe drinking source, the medical officer of health recommends boiling this water or using an alternative source. Scaring you to buy bottled water so they can profit lots of money. Such a simple thing as water, and it's such a high price. It's sad, really. Another thing I always like to do is tack World Public Union flyers on all the community boards so that they could see the World Public Union has arrived in Sundridge. The Sundridge Lions Club, even the smallest communities got Lions Clubs, Mason Halls. So that's one thing you should look for, even if you live in a small little community. Oh, there's an interesting one. Sundridge, the Zion United Church, founded in 1886. I'm not going to stick around in Sundridge because they're supposed to get a storm tonight. A couple of the locals told me. I was able to hand out 3 World Public Union flyers and put one on their community board. And I talked to a couple people that I ran into along the way. But I'm not going to stick here too long. Somebody told me that it takes about half an hour to drive to Burk's Falls. And walking, that's going to be about 2 or 3 hours. So I want to try to make it there for today. It's been nice, Sundridge. But I'll see you next time.
On my way out of town, I stopped at a convenience store to grab a refreshment, and one of the locals told me that I should take Highway 124 so that I could hit more communities and talk to more people on the way to Burk's Falls. I did note at the time, but this would add a full day of walking, or close to 30 kilometers to the journey.
So yeah, back there we got Highway 11 south, and I chose to go Highway 124 west so that I could hit up all those little towns, continuing down to Burk's Falls. Hopefully I can make it there today. It's always a good thing to see on the highway is an Inukshuk. That's a Native American tradition. They watch over you, their spirits that guide you and protect you. You'll find those all over the highways in Canada. The skies above are looking pretty gray. That's for sure. I tried to bypass the storm, but I think I might get hit. I might have to bunk down somewhere. Set up some tarps before it starts raining too bad if I am going to be stationary. Right now I'm just airing off the feet. They're definitely really sore. I had to reuse these blister socks today because I haven't done laundry in a little bit, and all I have left is regular socks, and these blister socks are really helping me not get blisters, so I'm going to wear them again today even though my feet stink really bad. Gotta do it. But yeah, I'm gonna sit here and have a snack, have a drink. I'm eating some pepperettes right now. Give me some energy to get to Burk's Falls. That's where I'm going. Looks like the day spared me for rain. It's not gonna rain, the sun's shining. I'm in part of Ontario's farming community. Passed through a few farms already. It's pretty cool to see people growing their own food and hearing the livestock while I was having a snack by the side of the highway. Looks like it's a pretty long stretch, but it can't be as long as I've already came, so gotta keep on going. Keep on keeping on. Looks like they're kind of shy. They don't want to come up and say hello. Oh, here we go. Here comes the horse. Hello. Come on. Come on. Come on. Good horse.
It was refreshing to see such beautiful animals along Highway 124, and after projecting some positive energy outwards, one of them started to approach me to say hello. I could see someone walking down the road towards us, which startled the horse, so I wanted to ask for some directions to see how far Burk's Falls was. It was a great spot to stop, and I felt my morale increase from the experience with the horse.
The horse is grunting. Well, time to hit the highway. Hey man, you know how far Burk's Falls is that way? Oh yeah? Like how many kilometers do you think?
You would have been better off
Taking the highway?
Sundridge overpass and then go that way.
Oh yeah?
Way shorter. You go that way, it's gonna fucking take a long time.
Oh yeah? What, all the way to the highway bypass there and then go up 11 south?
Yep.
Huh. I was told that if I went through this way, I'd hit a bunch of little towns and stuff along the way.
You're gonna have to go all the way to fucking Magneto bait and tackle. Okay? Then you fucking,
Magneto one, yeah?
Then you turn left, you go through Magneto up and around, and then you're pretty much going like this, way out and around, and then Burk's Falls is over there.
Oh yeah?
So you're going this whole extra loop for nothing, and you can just go straight that way.
Crazy. I guess I should have mapped it. Someone told me in Sundridge, they told me to just keep going this way and I'll get there. So I was
This
like,
is the longest fucking way possible.
crazy. Wish I would have known that before, but somebody told me to just keep going down the old highway and I'd get there. And I'd hit up a couple little towns along the way, but he was just telling me there's nothing going on in those little towns. It's like one shop and they'd be closed by the time I walk through. So that means I must have walked maybe 3 kilometers, 4 kilometers in the wrong direction.
It was certainly some bad news to hear how far I had walked in the wrong direction, and I lost a lot of time trying to go that way, and I began to think that the person who told me to go that way gave me wrong directions on purpose, so that I'd walk all that extra distance, because it didn't make sense that it was that far away from Burk Falls. I had to walk all the way back to Sundridge to make it back to the highway and continue on to get to the next town.
This hill goes on forever. Wasn't so bad going down, but pulling this thing up definitely adds more weight to it. It's 7 minutes after 7. It's getting dark. If you look over there where the sun is, that's where I was. I backtracked all the way. I was going to cut around and go all the way this way, but if I go straight, Burk's Falls is a lot shorter of a walk, so I decided to take this path and backtrack even though it was tiring going up that hill. So, I don't know if I'm going to make it to Burk's Falls tonight. It's already 7:07, and the rain clouds, I'm back under them. Tried to beat the rain clouds, but it's not working today. I don't know if I can do 17K, but I'll try my hardest to do 17K.
Since I didn't have an internet connection or Wi-Fi out there, I didn't exactly know how far I had walked in the wrong direction. But after making it to the highway, I definitely lost a lot of energy backtracking, and I just wanted to make it as far as I could as possible because the sun was starting to go down, and nighttime walking on the highway isn't as safe as walking in the day where cars can see you. So I really wanted to get somewhere safe where I could get on a Wi-Fi connection to let my family know I was all right as well, since that was very important too.
I don't know how much farther I gotta go till Burk's Falls, but I came from a far away place, and South River is pretty far from here, and I did that 2 or 3, more than that, it had to have been 3 kilometers backtracking from the highway. So that was a big waste of time to do that. But I'm sitting under a bridge there. I got my boots off, let my feet air out. I keep lifting my legs up to stretch the muscles. It's definitely taking its toll. I don't know if I'm going to be able to make it to Burk's Falls, but I really hope so. I mean, I got to keep going and going and going. I don't want to hurt myself. The injuries are just building up, and there's all sorts now. Like my knee's sore, my leg, my muscles are sore, my hip, my feet are damaged. This is the most physically enduring thing I've ever done in my life. It's definitely taking a toll on my body. I could feel it in every muscle in my whole body. It's like aching, like so much pain every step, but I just ignore the pain and I just keep going. I just hope that I can make it to Burk's Falls tonight, because this has been one intense walk today, that's for sure. Don't change the channel. For only $999, you can have 5 bottles of water. The battery's probably gonna die before I hit Burk's Falls, so I don't know what I'm gonna do. I gotta try to charge up this phone somehow. I got a little bit of juice left on my laptop. I could probably do it that way, so I might have to stop somewhere before Burk's Falls just to charge up the video camera here. Otherwise, I'm gonna miss some footage, I'm sure.
It may have been because they got a call of a guy on the side of the highway who was talking to himself with the TV around his head, but it wasn't long after I took that break before the OPP pulled me over on the side of the highway and asked me some questions.
Well, there they go. Just got pulled over by the OPP. I tried to get my camera out, but I didn't want them to think that I was a bad guy reaching for a gun or nothing, so I just they pulled over and they asked me what I was doing, and I told them what I did, and they're actually pretty nice about it. They couldn't believe that I walked that far, but they were really nice guys. They're just seeing what I'm up to, walking on the highway alone before dark, making sure I'm not a criminal or anything. They did a background check on me, and they said that I was the first person they ever pulled over without a criminal record, so that's cool. I'm not a bad person. I'm a loving person, caring as much as I can be, and I try to teach people the truth. I told them about my documentaries and what they were about. I told them about the March of Freedom, so hopefully they go back home and check out the internet when they get there. Maybe they'll learn something.
After the discussion with the OPP officers, I knew that they were now aware of what I was doing as well as where I was along the way. I told them that I was going to Burk's Falls, and they offered me a ride, but I thanked them for the offer and politely declined. They told me it was around 9 or 10 kilometers up the road, and told me how to get into town, and mentioned there was a Tim Hortons with Wi-Fi there. They drove off, and I continued on as the darkness of night fell over me on the highway. It took a while to tackle that last 10 kilometers of the journey, and as I entered Burk's Falls, I was greeted with a couple of massive hills. Hauling the cart up those obstacles took a great deal of energy, and my phone battery died on the highway before getting into town. I stopped at a chip stand and used the power socket to plug in the laptop and charge the iPhone so I could continue to get more videos. After crossing the street, I stumbled upon a very familiar sight along the journey.
I made it to township of Armour, but I actually walked all the way through Burk's Falls, all the way through, and didn't find anything. But look at this mason shake right on the town center. That's the town center of Armour. Pretty crazy. The Compass, Lions Club, every city, Mason, Mason, Mason. They even have the handshake right on the front sign. It's starting to rain. I just walked all through town. It said there was a sign saying there was a Tim Hortons in Burk's Falls. And, well, I walked all the way through Burk's Falls, up 2 massive hills, and I didn't find any Tim Hortons till I got to the edge of town. And it's saying Armour Township. And then there's the OPP station, right by Armour Township. And there's the Tim Hortons. So I made it to the Tim Hortons just as it started raining. Actually, as soon as I went to the Compass, boom, rain. So I'm getting to Tim Hortons to charge up and get out of this rain and grab some food and drink for sure. And this guy was staring at my cart across the road, so he stopped beside it. I think he was looking at my cart trying to see if he could take it. It's funny how nobody stops when I'm walking down the highway with a cart. But if I leave my cart there, everybody just comes flocking. That's the state of mentality people have these days. Pretty brutal.
When I finally made it to the Tim Hortons, it felt like I had been hit by a truck. I mean, every single muscle and bone and joint in my body ached from walking so much, and just the simple act of sitting down in a chair to rest hurt my legs extremely because they were so used to walking and being straight all day that just sitting down, I could feel the tearing in my muscles and all the ligaments and everything in my legs.
So I made it to the Tim Hortons, got a coffee, gonna warm up, got a bagel, sun-dried tomato bagel, just in time for the rain. It's pouring outside now. Glad I managed to get here before I got soaked.
I also used the time in Tim Hortons to use their Wi-Fi connection to try and get access to my Facebook account again, and also to send my family an email to let them know where I was and that I was doing okay.
I'm sitting in Tim Hortons in Burk's Falls using Wi-Fi, and I'm trying to get my account back, my Mark Howitt Facebook page. And I went through the photo verification process and I got them all right this time, which is awesome because they weren't throwing cartoon characters in to distract me or for me to guess them wrong. So I managed to get all of those right, 5 people right, answered the questions, and now it's saying this. Even though I got through the security process, now it's saying, sorry, something went wrong. I'm gonna go back to see if I got my account back. Nope. Document expired. And if you look down there, my battery's gonna die. So I don't have much time to do this. There's no plugins in here, so somebody's trying to hack it big time. So something's going on, and I just changed my password. So really, that's horrible that it's doing this. Now it's asking to review my emails. Yes, these are my emails, both of them. Continue. Change your email passwords. If someone knows your email password, they'll be able to access your Facebook account? How does that work? In order to secure your Facebook account, we require that you change the passwords to the email accounts that you've confirmed on Facebook. Please review the recent changes to your page and make sure you made them. Uncheck any changes you didn't make and they'll be undone. I made both of these changes. This is horrible. Look at this. So many reviews. I've never seen this before. The pages below were recently liked by your Facebook account. Please select any that you didn't add yourself so we can remove them from your profile. They're trying to remove March of Freedom. You see that? Your name was changed while your account may have been hacked. Please select your name from the list below. So somebody's trying to change my name and everything. Account unlocked. You can now log in. Thanks for fixing your account information. Your account is unlocked and your information has been restored. Thank you. Let's try this. It seems that a lot of times when I do this stuff and I go through the process, it gives me an error and it blocks me out. It's pretty horrible. What do you know? I got her done. Well, there we go. Bingo.
It rained all night, so I decided to stay at the Tim Hortons to keep dry and utilize the internet access to secure my pages and profiles from future attacks. I had a few coffees while I was there to keep me awake, and one of the employees let me charge my laptop and phone behind the counter while I was waiting. I told her what I was doing, and she told me that her husband told her lots of things about secret societies and government conspiracies, so it was a really great, inspiring conversation. As I hobbled around, I noticed a guy in the corner smirking and laughing to himself, likely because I was so stiff and in pain and had hauled a huge cart into the store. At around 3 in the morning, an elderly gentleman of 73 came into the store, and it was not long before we struck up a conversation. We talked for a couple of hours about the corporate takeover of government and resources, elections and politics, and several other great subjects. He was quite surprised that I knew about some of the things he was mentioning, as well as how much that he had learned from me. I went on to the internet a few times when I would say something that he had a hard time believing, and when I pointed out the evidence about water fluoridation and election and voting frauds, he was pretty blown away. I felt like I had connected with him very well, and at around 6 a.m., as there seemed to be a break in the storm, I decided to hit the highway and try to make it to Huntsville by the end of the day. We left together, and just as I was about to enter a turnpike, he got out of his truck and called me over. He asked me my name, and when I told him, he extended his hand. He firmly pressed down on my second knuckle, indicating the fellow craft handshake of Freemasonry.
That's the Tim Hortons I was at. Over there in the distance. And look at those menacing clouds. as far as the eye can see. Just storm clouds. I'm glad I got out of there, but I'm not too far. I'm under a bridge now. And over here, there's some clear skies. The sun's starting to come up. It's almost 6 in the morning. I definitely don't want to be stuck under that. Not with the cart. The cart will get soaked, and I guarantee you, even though it is waterproof, things would still get damaged. I gotta find a nice dry spot and bunk down for a bit and get some sleep, because I didn't sleep last night. I just walked all day, all night. So still under the bridge, and I'm looking, and it looks like I got a little break. Won't be much because there's gray clouds in behind that white one. But if I leave now, I should be able to miss that because the clouds are moving pretty quick. So I should be able to miss it. Following the weather, I'm going to make a break for it. Backtracking yesterday, that really did my feet in, especially climbing up those huge hills in Burk's Falls. I couldn't get a video of that because the battery was dying and it was nighttime. So it's really hard to film things at night. It's really dark. So I'd prefer to film during the day if I could, unless I get a night camera or something along the way. Well, there we are, 250K to Toronto and 41 to Huntsville. I thought it'd be about a bit over 30 kilometers to Huntsville because I swore I walked about 33 kilometers yesterday with the backtracking I did and walking through Burk's Falls. So I'm gonna find a little place, little community from here, between here and Huntsville, and I'll set up camp and I'll get some sleep for a few hours in the day, and then I'll set my alarm, wake up, and keep walking. Another victim of the road. Dead skunk. Well, I'm almost in a little town called Katrine, but there's rain coming and I'm already wet. Look at the cart here, it's already wet. I don't want to get anything wet in that cart if I don't have to. The sleeping bag corner is already a bit wet. That's not good. That dampness in the tent is not good. So I'm gonna climb up on this hill, I guess. Go around the guardrail, go down here, and make my way up this hill because all the other hills are pretty darn steep. I would never be able to make it up with this cart, especially with how dead my legs are. I need to rest my legs, otherwise I'm not gonna make it too far. If it rains for a day, I'll have to stay there for a day, I guess, but needs to get done. Katrine is only 1 kilometer away, so if I absolutely need to, I could even keep the camp set up here and go for a little walk, but even this is hurting my legs. Oh yeah, that's definitely a leg burn, and this is not good stuff to be walking through with a cart. I don't want to damage it, but I need to get out of this rain. Definitely not easy getting this thing back there and filming at the same time. This rock might cut the bottom of the tarp. I want to be careful with that. Gotta do what you gotta do though. And that's the easiest place to climb I've seen in a long time from here. So I actually seen a road sign. I seen a road sign across the street that I was gonna tarp up and behind it, but I know that it wouldn't be. It would only be a matter of time until somebody saw that and pulled over and investigated. Already 2 or 3 times I left the cart for a minute, and somebody was taking a look at it. Oh, this is definitely not good for the cart. But it's either this or get soaked. All right, now for the hard part. Now I gotta get this cart up that hill to where there's some trees up there. So, time to climb up the hill. There's a fence line over there if you could see it, and I figure it's often a good idea to build a camper right by the fence line so that animals can't cross over into your site. But this time it's not going to happen. There's no big enough trees around here to tie the rope to make a tarp. So I got no choice but to go back down the hill and head her into Katrine. The rain has eased up a bit, but just from climbing up here I'm soaked. I investigated the area up here. I was just going to plant something on the ground, but and then throw a tarp over it. But there's lots of animal dung over here. And there's lots of game trails coming in here, and it's big enough trails. I walked by this earlier, I didn't notice it right away, but I just noticed it now. Raspberries. Wild raspberries. These are good to eat. That's probably what was up here eating stuff. Probably something eating raspberries. I think I'm gonna try to find a couple good ones and eat them. They're not very big right now, but there you go. Nice wild raspberry right off the plant. No bugs inside. Good to go. Much better than store-bought, that's for sure. Very sweet. Oh, this one's got some weird discoloration. You don't want to eat that. You want to check everything before you eat something that's wild.
The raspberries along the highway were a tasty breakfast, and after eating a bunch I decided to hit the highway. There was not enough room to set up a concealed camp spot because of the fence line along the highway, and what was probably a bear seemed to enjoy the raspberries as much as I did. Coming down the hill with the cart, however, had some serious effects on my ability to move. From this point onward, it was going to be nothing short of a relentless uphill battle.
Well, I'm under that bridge where Katrine Road is. Katrine Road runs this way, but the entrance isn't for a kilometer that way. And I tried climbing up that hill over there, which really did a number on my legs, and coming back down was even worse because I had to support the weight so the cart didn't go barreling down the hill. And I got soaked. My boots are soaked. It says waterproof right on the boot, both of them, and they're full of water, like they're soaked. It's pretty bad when they put waterproof on the boot and they don't do anything. So the next Canadian Tire I'm going to bring them my receipt and see if I can trade them up for a new pair, something even of equal value. But I got some bigger problems now, and that's this leg here. This one here, I can't even lift it on its own. This one here, like, not too bad to bend. It's good to get it up, but this one here, not a chance. I can move it side to side, but there's no way I can lift this leg. Even at Tim Hortons, when I was sitting there, I had to sit for 4 or 5 hours to rest the legs. And this one here, I couldn't even move it. To sit down and to move my leg, I'd have to pick it up with my arm. Like, the only way I can move my leg is if I grab it by the bottom where the knee is and bend it up. So, I don't know what's going on there, but it doesn't feel too good. You're not supposed to walk with wet feet. That's why I was trying to set up a camp over there, but there's nothing over there. There's nothing anywhere around here that would be doable. My body's shaking, not only because I'm wet and cold, but also because of the shock from my leg. I noticed it at Tim Hortons too, but this is a lot worse. Just from climbing up that hill with that cart and bringing it back down again. Really destroyed my leg. I usually don't feel a lot of pain, but this one I can feel for sure.
Despite my legs being so damaged, I had no choice but to walk onward.
I'll tell you, I don't know if you can see how slow I'm walking in the camera, but I'm in a lot of pain now. My feet are soaked, so all the injuries in my feet are coming back. I can feel it. And my knee is screwed up. I definitely injured my knee pretty bad. And I didn't get too far. I saw a sign way back saying Katrine Road, 1 kilometer. And up ahead there's the turnoff for it. I won't hitchhike though, I'll tell you that. I gotta set up camp somewhere. Wherever I find a good spot, I gotta try to set up and rest my legs, dry my feet. That's top priority right now. Definitely not having a good day today.
My legs were in rough shape, and I had only made it to Katrine. I took a long rest there and managed to find a tensor bandage at the store. It was sure luck, as it did not seem that they had much stock at the store. While I was resting, I asked around about a place to set up camp, and it seemed that the only places were private property and a public beach where they said I was sure to be harassed by park security. I spoke to a woman at a chip stand about the area, and she suggested that I find a place in the bush on the road that ran parallel to Highway 11, so I thanked them and headed off in that direction. I noticed a small trail off to the side of the road after limping for quite a distance, so I took my chances and hoped for the best.
Yeah, that hurt the knee. Only way. It's not good. This is some thick bush. Definitely where animals like to hide. Yeah. I hope this was what I think it is. This is definitely a nice area for sure. But what's in this bag? Garbage. Alright, that's not too bad. I gotta check for bear baits. Because you don't want to be camping near bear bait. And it's really hard to get this cart through here with a bum knee, that's for sure. So I gotta figure something out quick before the bugs get me. I think I see a patch through there. A nice open patch so I can see around me a bit more. And there's still lots of room for tarp lining, so that might be what I have to do. Let's hope this little nap doesn't get me eaten by a bear. Well, that's the first time I ever seen it tip. Oh, it's because there's a giant stick jammed up in there. Brutal. I'm probably gonna have to park the cart around here somewhere and then walk everything over that I need for the tenting. That'll separate me from the food as well. So, time to get to work. Not good with a bum knee, tired, don't want to get soaked. Not a good day at all. Another thing I noticed is there's a lot of things that like to climb the trees around here. You can see the claw marks gouged into the tree all the way up, it goes high. A lot of branches were cut off. That could be a porcupine, but more likely bear. A small bear. Yeah. Every tree has the markings of something that climbed it. And it's got big claws. I'll tell you that. Every tree here has that, and they're all fresh. I don't know. Don't really like the idea of sleeping in a bear's territory. So I decided against staying in here, mainly because somebody's property is over there. I passed it along the way, and I believe this is their backyard, and I did hear something going on over there. So I'm kind of worried that he might come out and find me or something and get upset. I could get charged for trespassing. There's all sorts of things that could happen out of that situation. Plus all the marks in the trees and just the thick bush. It's really hard to get everything around in here. So I'm going to keep walking. I'm going to tough it out on my knee. I'm going to keep walking further down the highway. Hopefully I find something. I really do hope so. Otherwise, I'm gonna be walking like a zombie down the highway at like 1 mile an hour from here until Huntsville. So that's Katrine, and I was searching for a place down the back road, 592. So I went all the way around that bush, over this bridge, hoping to link with Highway 11, which is down there, because that's where I gotta go. And if you look down there, it's all fence line. There's no way of getting off this highway and going down and crossing there because it's all fenced in, which is good to keep the animals and wildlife in behind there, but I wish there's a door or something that you could just open and get through there, because that's not gonna make it easy. And then on this side, you got nothing. You got sheer rock face with a stone ditch, huge rocks all in there. And I can't drag a cart through that. So I don't know what I'm gonna do exactly. This has been a brutal day for sure. Not only is my leg sore, my feet are sore, my feet are wet, but I keep getting backtracked. Keep going in the bush to look for a place to camp. Can't do that. Keep walking. Last 2 days it's been a lot of backtracking, and it's really discouraging for sure. But I gotta keep going. Definitely gotta keep going. I don't know. I think the only chance I have is to ask somebody. So I'm gonna flag down somebody when they come by, because maybe I could take up around the bend and then get to one of the smaller towns that's coming up. I seen a sign up there saying that there's 3 little towns where you could exit off and get to them. So maybe if I go up this way, it'll somehow merge with 11 again. Well, I've been sitting here for quite a while now, probably about an hour. And I've cars drive by and I say 11 this way, and I shrug my shoulders, and they just keep driving. Everybody, they look at me, they slow down for a second, and then they just keep going. They don't even stop to say, hey, what do you need? I just want to know, does this lead to Highway 11? I don't want to backtrack another 10 kilometers, or however long it's going to take, just to have a wrong direction. And as you can see over there, where I was in Katrine, it's pouring rain now. Massive downpour, and it's now above me. It's already starting to rain.
And just as the saying goes, when it rains, it pours.
Well, that was really not cool. I was standing up on top of the guardrail there, around that bend, and that huge storm cloud came and poured all over me. I got soaked, like big time. I had to throw a tarp on the trailer, and so I'm getting eaten alive, swarmed here by deer flies and horse flies. So I had to go all the way around the culvert, down this little path there, and all the way around this ditch here, all the way around the highway until I get under the bridge. I was standing there for about 2 hours, and I flagged down about 21 vehicles, and not one person stopped. People waved. I was waving both my hands in the air saying stop, stop, and nobody stopped. All I wanted to do was ask them a question. All I wanted to do was say, does this road lead to Highway 11? But it poured on me big time. I'm soaked everywhere. My boots are soaked. Like, I don't know if you can hear that, but they're full of water. And I got about 40 deer flies flying on me. They're on the phone, they're on my face, they're on my hands, my back. They just won't stop swarming. So I gotta keep moving, trucking through this bush. Sorry, it's like 3 flies on the phone. I'm seriously getting swarmed by flies. I don't know if you could see that on the phone, but good thing I'm wearing this hoodie. It's soaked. That's why they like me so much right now. Today has been a brutal day of chugging through the bush with this trailer, trying to find a place to tent. I didn't even sleep last night. And I'm not even tired, so I don't want to sleep. I just want to get somewhere. That's what I'm trucking through to get to the highway. Could this day get any worse?
Little did I know at the time, but things were about to get much, much worse.
Well, I made it under the bridge. It's gonna be a bit more dry here, that's for sure. There's more rain coming. You noticed a couple minutes ago it was sunny. That's perfect tornado weather. Hot, cold, wet. Across the road, that's where I came from. Definitely a brutal trek through that grass and those horseflies. That was insane. I was standing under that bridge for quite a while, and the rainstorm just kept coming on and off, on and off, on and off. I came all the way around under the bridge, protected myself from the rain, and then I noticed this driveway here. There's nothing leading to it from the highway. It's all grown in. I don't want anybody from the highway to see me because you never know what could happen if they see you, right? But it looks like there's a lot of good open area here. I could tuck something into the bushes there, set up camp. I definitely need to rest. If I don't get to rest soon, I'm gonna be toast. I can already feel my legs burning, my feet are soaked and they're all mushy, gross. It feels really disgusting and sore. My knees sore. I need to dry off, relax, lay down, warm up, and just really get some sleep. Could be done. Looks like I got some work to do. I'm gonna make this happen. Alright, I'm gonna set up the tarp line, put a tarp down, put a tarp up, put the tent up, and we should be good.
I wasted no time in getting the campsite set up because I had noticed several menacing rain clouds heading straight for me. After setting up the tarp line to help keep the tent dry, the only thoughts passing through my mind were how much I needed to get off my feet and dry my shoes and clothing. It was getting much easier to set up camp. However, the injuries I had sustained to my legs and feet caused me a considerable amount of discomfort. The gray tarp had some holes and tears in it, so I used that for the base of the tent, but when it came to waterproofing, I discovered another discouraging realization.
So as they say, learning is half the battle, and I just learned something really detrimental. That I'm not able to waterproof unless I'm under a shelter. And the reason why is because that tarp is too small to cover the tent. I do need the tarp on the bottom to resist moisture coming up through the tent. The one on top ain't gonna do it because it's too small. And this other tarp here I need to cover the cart because the cart has all the supplies in it and I can't get that wet. I can't afford that whatsoever. So one tarp for the cart, one tarp for the bottom, and one tarp that's too small to cover the tent. So I should have bought a bigger tarp, but I bought the biggest one that I could find and that I could afford. So looks like I'm not going to be waterproofing. There's going to be some rain coming soon. Not a good day at all. I just want to dry my feet so that I can walk at least, because I can't walk in wet feet. They're soaked. They're slopping out water. Not a good day. This rain, it just will not leave me alone. These rain clouds seem to have followed me for days. Like, I just avoid a storm, then I get one. Then I just avoid a storm, then I get one. Like, unbelievable. I'm pretty upset right now, and I don't get upset very easily. The tent that I bought was a small, lightweight one that would be easy to carry around, and it's not waterproof. So this is not too cool at all. I'm gonna have to tear down the tent. What I'm gonna do is, since it's sunny right now, I'm gonna try to do this very quickly before that huge rain cloud up above comes over. My sweater, my pants are wet, everything's wet. I need to dry off. And this sun rain is not cool because I'm still outside of Katrine on the highway. I didn't advance past that, and that's only maybe a couple kilometers past Burk's Falls. The reason why I've been getting bypassed all these times and running into all these problems is because I try to take shortcuts, or I go off the highway into a smaller town, and then it's hard to get my way back and stuff like that. That's what's really causing the problems. If it's gonna keep raining, I'm gonna have to find shelter, and under that bridge I'm frozen because I'm soaked. The transport's whipping by. I don't want to get sick. That's another thing. I really don't want to get sick out here. Being sick when you're out alone in the bush, walking, doing whatever, it's not a fun time. I don't have money to pay for a hotel room, so I have to tent it no matter what. I know there's going to be more rain. This ain't the last of it, that's for sure. When you're around these areas, you got to be careful about bear traps, all sorts of junk. Like, look at all the metal in the ground. There's all this old stuff here. There's a whole ton of oil barrels just dumped back there. This looks like an old grill. There's old paint cans. So, campsite's been torn down. And it started raining right when I put the tarp on that. So the cart's good. For now. Right there. I'm not though. But luckily I scouted the area a little bit before I set up the tent. And I found something that I can use, hopefully, to keep dry. Even if it is just for a minute. Till the rain stops, till the next sun patch comes in. I don't care. Then I'm going right to the road and I'm gonna be walking. My feet are dead. They're soaked. They're sore. I can't believe it. I found a log cabin and I found a van and a bunch of other stuff back here that I didn't check out yet. Totally gutted. That's not going to keep me dry. That's not going to do anything. That's for sure. But I'm going to take a walk around and I'm going to check out that cabin. It's grimy in there. That's for sure. There's no way I'd be sleeping in that. There's nowhere to sleep, and it's probably got leaks. There's a whole junk pile right there. Old siding, a toboggan. But where I'm going, here to show you guys that little shack. The battery on the phone's almost dead again, so I gotta be sparing with it if I can. Ugh, brutal. This is a danger zone. Here's the shack. It's hard to walk through this bush without tripping on something. This is how you get in. There's more old equipment over there. But yeah, here's the shack. Let's see what's inside. Looks like old wood shavings. I'm gonna be careful about bees' nests. Because bees love places like this. Old buildings. Got the flashlight out. Gonna have a better look. Oh, there's some dry firewood. Definitely some dry firewood, and this is an old paper box. I think that's what that is. Yeah, this is what we got. Definitely can't sleep in here. There's probably some severe bugs in here. I don't really trust it, to be honest. But it's okay to be in for now to keep me dry. The roof does look like it's keeping waterproof, which is pretty cool. But I'm not sleeping in this. It'll just get everything dirty, and see like there's mold or something over there. There's just piles of tires and spiders and bugs everywhere. I don't even know when the last time this place was used. It's hard to say really, but it's a cool find in the bush for sure.
I had been caught under gray skies all night and day, so it was great to be able to keep dry from the rain inside of the shack. I stayed inside for almost an hour while it rained on and off, and when I noticed a large enough break in the clouds, I made my way back across the highway and underneath the shelter of the bridge.
When I was hauling this cart over the ditches over there, I had to go over 2 ditches, one on each side, and pulling that cart up the ditch, the slope on the ditch, I tore the blister on the bottom of my foot, the big one. I think it's in a new spot though because it's in the middle of my foot, so that must mean that there's new blisters. My feet are soaked, puddles in them. I've tried everything. I walked through Katrine and there's nothing there. People didn't seem to want to even talk to me because they probably never seen someone look like me before. They judge a book by the cover. And when you judge a book by its cover, you lose all the content that's inside the book. You learn nothing. You learn nothing. You make assumptions. That's what it is. It's an assumption. Oh yeah, I looked at the cover. I know what the whole book's about. Too many people these days live by that mentality, and it's got to stop. This seagull's gonna get hit. Dodgeball with the cars. Not safe. That's what I'm thinking about right now. Safety. When I'm walking, my knee doesn't hurt, but when I sit and I try to lift my legs, I can't even lift my leg. I have to lift my leg with my hands. It's insane. That's what walking from Sundridge to near Huntsville does to you. Damages you, especially if you're doing it alone. Definitely been a hard couple weeks so far. I could take a lot of damage, but that's a lot of beatdown. From the weather, from people, from everything. It's just a massive beatdown.
Because my clothes were wet from all the rain all day, I definitely was getting cold under that bridge, and every car and truck that passed by felt like a huge gust of wind was freezing my skin. So I definitely had to figure out a game plan and figure one out fast.
I don't want to be stuck under this bridge, and I can't be walking all the way up the highway. Because if I do, I'm gonna tear my foot apart. It's already moist and gross. I could feel the sponginess in it. And if I walk, it's gonna damage my feet permanent. Or for at least a long time, like a week or so. So I need to get out of here. The next nearest town I know is Huntsville. There is a couple small ones, but there's nothing there, nothing at all. I'd be in the same boat as in Katrine. Nothing. A variety store and that's it. A few houses. I guarantee you I can't walk anymore. I can't sleep under this bridge either. I've tried everything all day. I've wasted my whole day trying to keep dry and trying to keep out of this storm, but the rain just keeps falling and I keep getting more injured. And I'm not having fun anymore.
As I sat under the bridge, I could feel my morale and confidence lowering with each passing moment. I was losing hope, and I could feel the pain and damages from the past 72 hours of struggle. Safety was the top priority, and I could feel that my feet had reached their limits. I was at a threshold, and I knew that if I was going to make it out from under the bridge, I would have to drastically change my strategy. It was at this point that I discovered just how much I had been damaged.
Well, there it be. That's why I'm injured. I don't think anybody would be walking on that. Nope. I'm not walking a foot more. That is brutal. My whole foot is just destroyed. Told you it hurt. That's all I gotta say.
Freezing under that bridge and discovering how badly my feet were actually injured was definitely the hardest part of the journey up until that point. And I had a lot of time under the bridge to think about things and make a decision on what I was going to do, and it was definitely the hardest decision I had to make. It was either stay under the bridge or find a place to camp out and keep walking on those injured feet, or try to get a ride to the nearest city where there was a doctor and a hospital.
I said I would only take a ride if it was a medical emergency, or if I was injured, or if the weather's insane, like a tornado or a massive storm or something. But The rain isn't too bad when I have a bridge, but when my feet are all mangled and injured and my knees banged up, I definitely can't walk. And I don't want to be stuck out here all night. I'll freeze. I'm already wet. It's not fun. Not fun at all.
I had to battle my pride to stick my thumb out on the highway, since I wanted to prove to myself and to others that I could make it. I knew that if I continued walking on my injured feet, it would have some serious consequences down the road, so I defeated my pride on the highway and tried my best to deal with the situation.
That's my sign to Huntsville, so I don't have to stick up my thumb and just put it beside the cart. Sitting here, needing a ride. I've hitchhiked when I was younger a lot, and you don't get picked up very often. Huntsville. Duct tape sign. I hope it works. Maybe someone will think that it's a witty idea and pick me up because of it. Who knows? But I definitely need to get me and this cart to Huntsville, because there's nothing from here to there, and Huntsville, I don't really know anybody there, but there's more people, so that's the main thing. Somebody might be able to help me out with information on finding a dry spot, or somebody might offer a place or something like that. So there's Wi-Fi there too, it's important, all that stuff. There's communication there, and I need that right now. Well, the Huntsville sign wasn't cutting it. Nobody stopped at all. So I wrote the word injured on there, because I definitely can't walk. I can feel my foot, it's destroyed. My knees mangled. So, injured. I just put that up. So let's see how long it takes. Hopefully not long. Only a truck can pick me up too, because I got the cart. That's the problem. See, that's how karma works, I guess. I was in a bad mood all day because of the rain and just walking around and backtracking, and all the people up there ignoring me, driving by without even stopping to answer my question. Yeah. And now it's raining again. Under the bridge while it's raining. One guy pulled over. He stopped for a second and then he drove off. Not sure why. Maybe he's calling an ambulance or something, I don't know. But I'm not getting out of this spot. I can't leave under this bridge. There's no way. I can't walk out there. I'm gonna get soaked. I'm gonna damage my feet more. I don't even think I should put that sock back on, actually. I'm gonna try to keep my shoe and my sock off my foot as much as possible. I definitely have to hitchhike though. Because there's no getting out of here when you're alone. You don't know anybody around, no phone, no cell phone. Been out here for about an hour with the injured sign out, with my foot hanging out, showing people the wound, so they know. So that they know I'm injured and it's not just me faking it to get a ride or anything. So I don't know how much longer I'm going to be here, but it's getting cold and wet, and my foot does not feel good right now. I knew it tore. I felt it when I was pushing up the hill. Felt something rip in my foot, that's for sure. The whole foot is mangled. I'm sure the other one's pretty bad too, but nobody's stopping. I got a sign out there and I've been thumbing it and nobody's stopping at all. This is the world we live in. You could be bleeding on the side of the road, dying, and nobody would stop to help you. You could have a broken leg on the side of the road, no one would stop to help you. You could be in labor, no one would stop to help you. It's a cruel world we live in, that's all I know. There is a lot of nice people though. There is good people out there, for sure.
One thing that is very evident to me is that there is apathy that seems to be contagious, that is rampant throughout society. This has essentially been conditioned upon us from the establishment. Things like media outlets, video games, movies, music, images, news, you name it. All that stuff is geared towards creating fear within the individual. And not only fear, but also condonance of violence, a separation, divisions within the community and stuff like that. And this is all programmed, this is all intentional. And I say this because somebody like Sigmund Freud, who was a very established psychologist back in the day, many people regard him as like the father of psychology and stuff, and he stated that evil and the darkness within mankind is something that is genetic. Essentially, it's passed on, it's within all human beings, it's just part of us. It's interesting to point out that one of his students, Wilhelm Reich, who discovered orgone energy and healing practices, was a student of Freud's, and he was expelled from the establishment essentially. His viewpoint on the situation was that humans are not bred with evil within them, or darkness and hatred and that kind of thing, but that's actually a product of the society that they belong to. So the society that they are involved with and that the interactions they have with the society is what creates the evil and the hatred and the separation and the fear within the individual. And I fully subscribe to that and Wilhelm Reich's work in regards to that. And curiously, Wilhelm Reich was arrested for his research in orgone energy and his viewpoints essentially, and his work was destroyed by the FBI. So that's very interesting to point out in that situation. And a lot of this hatred and the darkness in the media that we're seeing is put there intentionally, and it's also found within the 25 goals of the Illuminati document, which is also very similar to the protocols of the Elders of Zion document as well.
Modern psychology has a word that is probably used more than any other word in psychology. It is the word maladjusted. Now, of course, we all want to live a well-adjusted life in order to avoid neurotic and schizophrenic personalities. But as I move toward my conclusion, I would like to say to you today, in a very honest manner, that there are some things in our society and some things in our world of which I'm proud to be maladjusted. And I call upon all men of goodwill to be maladjusted to these things until the good society is realized. I must honestly say to you that I never intend to adjust myself to racial segregation and discrimination. I never intend to adjust myself to religious bigotry. I never intend to adjust myself to economic conditions that will take necessities from the many to give luxuries to the few and leave millions of God's children smothering in an airtight cage of poverty in the midst of an affluent society.
That's the world we live in. And I got a horsefly trying to bite me. Brutal. Wonder how much more I'll be. Totally unbelievable how many people drive by without noticing my foot in the sign saying I'm injured. Unbelievable. That's like the best way to describe it, I would say, is unbelievable. I've never seen anything like this, where people are like not concerned for other human beings. That's what I'm trying to promote, is care for each other. Like if I was mobile and I was driving a vehicle and I seen a guy sitting on the side of the road injured, I would definitely pick him up and bring him to the nearest hospital, like regardless what I was doing. People need help and nobody cares. They'd rather let people die, I guess, or I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just this area, I don't know.
I was growing frustrated by the minute, and because I was wet, cold, and in pain, I started to notice the signs of shock set into my body. After several hours of sitting under the bridge, and just as I was about to lose hope in getting out of there, things took a step in a positive direction for the first time all day.
Well, help has arrived.
The OPP, whom I had just seen the day before, had received a call from a trucker with a CB radio when he noticed I was injured on the highway. I was really glad to see them, and after they looked at my feet, they told me they would take me to the nearest hospital, which was in Huntsville, ironically located just 33 kilometers away. They had to check me for weapons before I got into the vehicle, and after they patted me down, they loaded my cart into the back of the SUV and we took to the highway.
Yeah, I appreciate this though, for sure. It was getting pretty cold there. I had to air out my feet because that's the best thing for it, is to air them out. But when the wind's cold, you start getting cold toes. And then the sun was like non-existent for the last couple hours anyways.
Vehicles, there were 2 10s on the scene and they were checking the area.
How far after Lake Logan?
Just a short little road.
So does that highway up on the top of the hill there that I was pointing to, does that eventually link to Highway 11 up that way? Oh yeah. Yeah, that's what I did yesterday actually. I tried to take a detour and then I got backtracked by like 6 kilometers. I was going towards Magnetawan instead of up 11 because somebody suggested that I should go that way. They said it was faster. I think it was bad directions because when I got to a map, 124 is definitely longer to get to Burk's Falls. Is that where you guys are from, Burk's Falls? Yeah? Yeah, I seen a big station there, that's what I figured. I guess all the OPP for the highway are based from there. Home base.
It was a pretty quiet drive to Huntsville for the most part, and it seemed like the officer didn't really want to talk that much. I think it might have been because he knew that I was filming in the back, because after I turned off the camera, he started talking to me a bit more and opening up a bit more, and we talked a bit about the area and what I was doing. I didn't tell him that I was filming for a reality show, however I did tell him that I was doing a walk to spread awareness. By that point, I figured that I was on the OPP radar because just a couple days prior on the highway, the OPP stopped and took my name and asked me some questions, and I did tell them what I was doing at that point. However, I did leave out the fact that I was filming for a reality show. And because the officers were all from the same station, I figured that the intelligence or information must have been relayed to each other somehow, and if they checked out the links or did a Google search or checked out what I was doing, then they would have found out that I was filming for a reality show. I did tell him that when I got to the 400 and 401 highways in Barrie and stuff, that I would be taking buses and other transportation because I'm not allowed to walk on those highways. So he told me that he didn't want to find me on the side of the highway and have to bring me to the hospital again. But he was a very nice officer, and when he dropped me off there, I knew that I had to keep going. I felt like it was almost like a scene out of Rambo First Blood, where the cop drives him to the outskirts of town and tells him he doesn't want him coming back, he doesn't want to see him again. I kind of felt like that in that situation, because the officer did tell me that he didn't want to see me injured again on the highway, or that I shouldn't be walking. I didn't mention that I was filming for a reality show to the OPP as a security precaution, mainly because I did not want anything to stop me from documenting the journey. It was important for me to keep going and to make it to the final destination, the North Atlantic Ocean, where Terry Fox dipped his foot on the shoreline to start his march. I still had 125 kilometers to go before making it to the 400 highway, where I would have to be mobile to travel around to the cities in southern Ontario. I had already traveled over double that distance and was now in the hospital because of the injuries I had sustained from the road. I could not help but feel defeated, as if I had let people down and could not complete what I had set out to accomplish. But the more I thought about it, the more I began to realize that it did not matter so much as to how I got to the places I was traveling. The most important thing about the March of Freedom was the experience itself, the connections that would be made, and the spreading of a message of love and unity, peace and awareness, and above all, the health and well-being of ourselves and of this planet we share together. Although I had been injured along the way, I was safe and in good hands, and because my country has a fair healthcare system, I would not be financially ruined due to the care that I needed and was receiving. It appalls me that some countries still do not have access to adequate healthcare, where we are living in modern times, and yet the only restriction to this aid is because of a profit margin and what seems to be a population control agenda. In the end, it's all about profits according to these government, corporations, and industry globalist scumbags.
The world's 85 richest people is equal to the 3.5 billion poorest people.
It's fantastic. And this is a great thing because it inspires everybody, gets the motivation to look up to the 1% and say, I want to become one of those people. I'm going to fight hard to get up to the top. This is fantastic news, and of course I applaud it. What can be wrong with this?
Really?
Yes, really.
So somebody living on
I celebrate capitalism.
$1 a day in Africa is getting up in the morning and saying, I'm going to be Bill Gates.
That's the motivation everybody needs.
Only thing between me and
I'm
that
not
guy
against
is
charity.
motivation. I just need to pull up my socks.
I am not.
I don't have socks.
Look, don't tell me that you want to redistribute wealth again. That's never going to happen. Okay?
You know what? You take a simple stat like this, which is neither good nor bad. It's just a fact.
It's a celebratory stat. I'm very excited about it. I'm wonderful to see it happen. If you work hard, you might be stinking rich.
We're talking about people in extreme abject poverty. That's how you get 3.5 billion.
No, we're not. You were just talking about really
category.
rich people.
No. Okay. I'm going to tell you later what you should say to this.
Ontario Provincial Police Ambulance. I'm now at the Huntsville District Memorial Hospital. I don't usually go to hospitals for many reasons, but the main being the knowledge I know of what goes on with certain industries involved with the hospital and stuff. Hospitals are good though because they do help people out, and it's obviously needed when you need them. I think I'm just going to see a nurse for a minute and then it'll be alright. So I'll keep you guys posted. The battery's going to die in here, but it's good that I made it to the Huntsville District Memorial Hospital. Time to check out the feet and see what the doctor says.
After registering, it did not take long before I was called up to give them my information and reasoning for being admitted. The nurse who registered me seemed very interested in my story, and he thought it was a good cause, since he agreed there were many problems in the world. I told him I was filming the experience for a reality show, and it felt like something similar to Survivor Man, and he was quite surprised to hear how far I had made it thus far. After waiting for around an hour and a half, I was brought into an examining room so they could take a look at my feet and legs, and going from room to room with my cart was quite the task. However, I did not want to leave the things I needed to survive unattended. All of the staff at the hospital were quite accommodating to my situation.
Well, I made it to the Emerge in Huntsville, so just waiting for a doctor in here, check out my feet, see how they're doing, see what he suggests. I don't think I'll be able to record it, but at least I'm allowed to record in the room here. I got my cart with me. Gotta bring that with me everywhere I go. I don't want to lose stuff.
After talking with one of the nurses, I was told that I was not allowed to use my cell phone in the hospital because of the equipment they had in that area of the building. However, I was able to snap a couple of pictures while I was in there. It did not take long before a doctor looked at my feet, and I was glad that I had made the decision to go to the hospital. I had been avoiding it all along since the first injuries had surfaced on the second day of the journey, and by now my feet were extremely damaged. It was time to get a thorough examination of my feet, as well as a doctor's opinion, and I was hoping that there was no permanent damages. One thing that I knew for certain though, and that is that this was not the end for me, but merely a new beginning to the March of Freedom.